Welcome back, sci-fi fans. Andrew here from the Science Fictionary, and as promised, here's kind of our new thing. We're going to be dropping clips from our recent live stream. So here you go. Here is Marisha and I discussing our final rankings for the movies of Marvel Phase Five. Hope you enjoy.
It does.
One of the topics I'm kind of surprising Marisha with, um, I didn't really think about it ahead of time, but I kind of thought we ought to do it, which is to rank the six Phase Five movies.
Hmm. You know, I live in the house with you. You could tell me
I
things.
didn't think about it until we were sitting down.
All right.
I was trying to come up with a third topic.
Okay.
This things it's better when you have three.
All right. I think I can probably manage it.
Let's see, and then we're going to talk Ironheart episodes 4 through 6, and then we will talk Andor, season
1 through 3.
two, episodes 1 through 3.
And also whatever else, happens to float our boat.
Yeah, I'm sure, it wouldn't be our show if we didn't have some other things creep into the conversation there.
It's true.
But, it happens. So let's kick this off with just a quick discussion about Marvel Phase 5 because we're done. Marvel Phase 5 officially wrapped with Ironheart. I'm specifically asking you about the movies. I thought about ranking the TV shows as well. But I kind of tried to do that because I put my rankings for the movies out over the weekend and nobody saw it. So we're going to talk about it again today. But really, it's harder to rank. I feel like it's just harder to rank the shows. And I feel like the Phase 5 shows are mostly just very kind of middle of the road.
Yeah.
I would have to go look at the whole list. Surely they weren't all terrible, but we also had the one we're going to talk about today, which is Ironheart, which ends up being kind of a stinker. I know it's kind of getting the rep as being the worst thing that Disney Plus has ever made. Now that I think that statistically, I think as far as viewership, that seems to be where it's sitting. So I understand that. Just running down the list of Phase 5 TV shows, it looks like we had Secret Invasion, which is way worse than Ironheart for the record.
Bad.
Ironheart has some moments that make me go, somewhere in here, there's a good story.
Right.
Poorly executed, but there are some redeeming elements. I don't think Secret Invasion really had any redeeming elements, and then had one of the worst finales in anything that's been done on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it was very bad. It started off bad.
Now we did get Loki season 2. Now Loki season 2 by itself might be the best season of anything we've gotten in the MCU as far as Disney Plus seasons.
Yeah.
I would say with season 1, it falls down a couple of places for me. So as a whole, I'd say it's probably like my number 3.
Okay.
I would say that WandaVision would be my 2 and Hawkeye's my 1.
Okay.
And so I feel like, but just taking that single episode, that single season 2, I don't know if you get a lot better than that.
Yeah.
Then we had Echo, which is, it's okay. It's very middle of the road. It's not great. It's not terrible.
I enjoyed it, but honestly, I didn't even remember that it was a thing.
Right.
Until I saw it on the list.
Then we had a couple seasons, that second season of What If, which is just downright bad.
I didn't love it. No. A lot of it was very forgettable.
We lost the plot somewhere in there, and it's just not very good. Ironheart, which we're going to talk about in a minute. We had Agatha, Coven of Chaos, which is another one that kind of like Echo. It's kind of middle of the road. Like there's some good, there's some bad, but it was overall way better than I thought it had any business being.
Yes.
Because I really thought it was a terrible idea.
I enjoyed it a lot.
So I didn't hate that one, but the only one, and then Daredevil, which I haven't actually had a chance to watch yet. But for me, as far as the ones I've seen, everything except Daredevil, Loki is.
Wait, you didn't watch Daredevil?
The new season of Daredevil, I have not seen yet.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah, I'd need to watch it, but like you were working,
yeah,
when it came out, and I just didn't watch it. So as far as the ones I've seen, Loki season 2 is just a head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I said, to be determined on Daredevil, I haven't seen it. But as far as the ones I have seen, none of them come close to Loki season 2.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it's any real. I mean, Hiddleston may be the best actor involved there, other than the fact they had Ben Mendelsohn in that Secret Invasion series. I'd say those are both super solid actors. Mendelsohn was just thrown into a really bad script.
It was really bad.
The Loki season 2 script, phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think you could have actually made that one a movie and pulled it off.
Oh yeah, I think so. I'm a little surprised that they didn't, honestly, as popular as Loki has always been. I think they were trying to do something.
Well, they're looking for something to grab the Disney Plus, the streaming thing. Disney was a little overconfident and kind of made some statements to that effect when they got into the streaming thing, and basically said, "Yeah, we can do this, and we can just charge less and provide more content and run everybody else into the ground." Well, it's like, yeah, but you got to make good stuff.
And Nick, I mean, they started off.
Good to see you in the chat there, by the way.
They started off strong with WandaVision and The Mandalorian. Like that was a great launch for Disney Plus, but they haven't been able to maintain that.
Yeah, and it's not that there hasn't been some good stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's been some great Disney Plus, straight Disney Plus
content. But it's now look, and to be fair, I'd say like even on Netflix, like 1 out of every 10 original things they do on Netflix is good.
Yeah, that's true.
Now the ones that are good are really, really good. But Netflix turns out a lot of crap. Now a lot of that crap is stuff that they're buying from small studios and then launching under their label.
Yeah,
it's a lot of the things that Disney Studios is making or they're putting a lot of money into. Same with Amazon. That's kind of what's going on with Amazon. Disney. Is Disney might need to take a look at buying stuff up from independent studios.
Yeah, speaking of Amazon and their original content, we do need to talk about the fact that Wheel of Time got canceled.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Like that's significant. They got 3 seasons into which should have been a 12 season show, and we're like, nope, just pulled the plug on it.
Yeah. And from I didn't watch it. I didn't care anything about it. Like is the delving into that particular IP that I have done. I can't get behind it. It's and I know that that some people love that one. But look,
actually, I really kind of a lot of the things that really bugged me about the books were things that they didn't kind of choose to stick with in the movies.
Yeah, and I will watch the series at some point.
Or in the series.
I just for me, for books, they have such a reputation as sort of a slog for sections of it.
Yeah.
That I just the last thing that I really read, I used to be an avid reader. And I just at some point I just kind of quit reading. Now some of that's just busy with other things in life and not leaving myself enough time to read. Probably some of that, probably more so the fact that after I don't play I don't play on the Xbox and stuff really when everybody else in the house is up. That's something I do after everybody goes to bed. So sometimes I do that and I end up not reading. And I don't think that's bad, but throwing some reading in there would be good. But I was still reading pretty avidly when the High Republic stuff started coming out. And honestly, I think in a lot of ways that burned me as much as anything on
Yeah.
reading. I just kept reading, and it was like I read like 3 or 4 really bad books in a row. And I
Yeah.
just kind of quit wanting to read.
Yeah.
Now I'm currently rereading. I was tried to read it with Red 5 reading, couldn't get through it quick enough. I'm reading The Hobbit for the,
Yeah.
who knows how many time I'm reading it, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying just, kind of reading it at my own pace there and enjoying it. But the Wheel of Time thing, yeah, it sounded like they had their best season, most well received season yet,
Yep.
and the plug got yanked out from under it. And I'm kind of wondering if the same thing is going to befall Rings of Power. I
Yeah.
have not finished season 2. I started it, and honestly, there's things that I kind of was willing to gloss over at times in season 1 where they were ignoring lore. And I was going, okay, but what they're doing is kind of, it's like, but kind of the more they do it and refuse to acknowledge, like, there are certain things I feel like they're just not doing well. And so the more they did it, the more I just kind of became disinterested.
I mean, I really loved Rings of Power season 2.
Okay.
I really
Well,
enjoyed it.
maybe I need to try to get into it again. I didn't make it very far. It's just there's a few characters that I can't. I watched some of it. Some of it's very good, and then some of the stuff with the way they're introducing the rings. I'm going, why is this all out of sequence?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that really kind of bugs me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the dwarf story is largely manufactured by the writers.
Yeah.
And that stuff's not really in the source
It's
material,
so
and it's mostly good. I probably enjoy the dwarves more than a lot of the other characters.
Durin.
But here's the thing: I'm sitting here right at the moment trying to remember how much of season 2 I watched, because as I started thinking about it, I started going, "Well, I saw this, I saw that, maybe I watched it all," and I just found that unmemorable. And I'm thinking that maybe I didn't finish it. So I need to come back.
I mean,
and
I think
finish
you would
it.
remember the ending.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't remember anything about an ending. So I need to come back.
Where do
to
we
that.
leave Celebrimbor?
He's kind of starting to go crazy.
Yeah, you didn't finish it.
Okay. Well, I think I saw the attack on the city.
Okay. On not Gondolin, Eregion.
Eregion.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I was watching some of my favorite reactors. They started watching Lord of the Rings recently, and I only think I've ever watched them react to. They watch The Office a couple episodes a week, and those are always funny to watch people experience for the first time. And, but I watched their Lord of the Rings, and it brought something back up. Why do you think they didn't make Glamdring glow?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Or Orcrist when they did The Hobbit.
Yeah, they should have.
Yeah. Do you think it was to just put more emphasis on Sting?
I think so. I think it was just mostly yeah. He's the only one with the mithril coat. He's the only one with the glowing sword, but
yeah. But Gondolin, or all 3 of those swords were forged in Gondolin.
Yeah.
So Nick's dropping us a ranking. I think that is his overall, not in a particular season. WandaVision, Hawkeye, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, She-Hulk, Moon Knight. Haven't seen the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a solid list. It's actually very similar to mine. I know. I think I recall Nick saying he didn't like Moon Knight. I kind of liked Moon Knight, and I liked it more the second time I watched it. But mostly because the acting is just so top notch.
I mean, Oscar Isaac. I might would sit and watch him talk to a fence post. I'm pretty sure he can make it interesting. He's just kind of got.
Think you can get funding for that movie?
Probably. You've seen some of the stuff that gets funded.
I know you have.
Like who convinced someone to spend $1 million on this?
Because as far as making movies go, $1 million is nothing to these studios.
I know, but it's still $1 million. Like, if I get somebody to give me $1 million, I feel like I could turn out something pretty good. And
Well,
of course, everybody thinks that.
Yeah, well, that's the
Everybody-
thing. Literally, everybody thinks that.
Everybody thinks that their story is, a diamond in the rough. If only they could get the peons to realize their amazing vision.
Right.
This would be the thing on Tubi, wherever it's going.
All right, so let's jump into our rankings here.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a list here in front of you. This is my ranking.
Okay.
I will read mine off here in a minute, but you want to do yours and I'll do mine, or you want to go down the list together 1 through 6?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that.
All right, what's your number 1?
I mean, I think that Thunderbolts may have to win out. Thunderbolts was such an enjoyable watch.
It's very good.
It's a good movie. And it's got heart. It's got all the things you kind of, it's got the big action sequences. It's got character development. It's got an interesting twist at the end.
Yeah.
It was all the things you want to see in that kind of movie.
I agree. Thunderbolts is one that it's going to be high on my list, but it's one that my 1 and 2, I felt like my 1 and 2 were pretty interchangeable, and my 5 and 6 were pretty interchangeable.
Okay.
Now, actually, so Phase 5, I feel like top to bottom is way better than Phase 4. Like, not that there weren't there were some good movies in Phase 4.
Yeah.
But the highs were really high and the lows were really low, like the Eternals.
Yeah.
Which I still think is probably my bottom of the barrel MCU film.
Yeah.
Not
good.
No, it's way down there. It's below the mark. It's below Captain Marvel.
It should have been so good, but it wasn't.
No, well, they got too pretentious and they got way too caught up in trying to make some sort of art film
or something.
It's like, it's a comic book film, y'all. Let it be what it is. Like, quit trying to, throw in a sex scene in a Marvel movie just because you could.
Because it was necessary.
And then
for the
insisting
story.
that it's necessary to the story, and it had
Bull
nothing to do with the
shit.
story. You put it in there because you wanted it in there.
Yeah. And it was so
Female directors. Seriously. Not that there aren't male directors that do that, but female directors as a whole obsess over that.
I've not really worked with female directors. I haven't really noticed very much.
And I'm not saying, maybe not all, the ones at the top.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not your people coming in and getting started, but so my number 1 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and say my number 2 is the Thunderbolts. And that's why I say those two are pretty interchangeable for me as far as which one's at the top.
Yeah.
I think Guardians gets the nod there because it's the culmination of the best trilogy in the MCU.
Okay.
As opposed to what? Captain America still holds the best movie. Captain America Civil War is an Avengers film.
Yeah.
And I have trouble considering that part of a trilogy.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the only reason. I really have trouble considering that a Captain America movie.
Yeah.
Like, so Guardians for me is a concise trilogy, same director. I don't even think Thor's had a trilogy yet. I think he's got 2 duologies.
Yeah.
I think you've got the first 2 Thor movies or one version of Thor almost, and second 2 are a different version. In the 4th one, they just went way too far.
Which is a shame.
Even Chris Hemsworth was like, yeah, we just got caught up in this and went way too far.
Yeah.
And basically said he wouldn't come back unless he had a new director.
Which is crazy because he just loved Taika after Ragnarok. But
I think that he felt like the character needed to come back down to earth a little bit and a more mature version of the character. And I don't think it was a knock on Taika as much as he didn't feel like Taika was the one to
grow that
to
character.
grow the character.
Yeah.
Nicole, welcome to the chat.
Hello.
But let's see. So you're number 2.
Number 2, probably Guardians 3. I think
Okay,
I would
so
switch my
yeah.
top 2.
So I feel like those two. I feel like my top 3 movies are solid in any phase you put them in.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I feel like Guardians had a lot of the same. You know, it had a really good villain. It had interesting character development. It had a lot of things happening. That I thought they did a really nice job, kind of combining all those things together, which they don't, always in a movie.
Yeah.
But that one really did well.
Yeah. So Guardians is
things.
like it's everything with the characters. Not that the characters hadn't bad big moments,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
for
felt
sure.
like Rocket's and Star-Lord's
Mhm.
characters have this really big arc, emotional arc.
And then Adam Warlock, is 5 minutes old and,
Yeah.
gets to grow up.
I felt like it was such, knowing that was James Gunn's exit from the MCU, the effect he's had on it, he's moving on to this new thing. I just felt like it was such a good wrap to those character story. If those characters never come back,
right,
I feel like we've had a really solid ending to that tale. Now, some of those actors really seem to have moved on, don't seem to want to come back.
Yeah.
And some of them probably would. I know Chris Pratt will come back. There's a lot of rumors about them leaning into Chris Pratt as sort of the lead in the next Avengers film.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick said he really wanted to see Thunderbolts, but it left theater so fast. Yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, that's just kind of where we are with these movies now, and they wonder why theaters are failing.
Right, like the
And
movies.
it's like the studios are doing the damage. Like this, you used to have, especially summer movies. Man, a movie came out, and it was in the theater for 2 months.
Yeah,
and then you
easily.
Still couldn't get the physical until 6 months later.
You could go to the dollar theater and see it after that.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember when I first started collecting physical media, and you had to wait at least 6 months to get that physical media. Summer movies, always bought them at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Now you go buy them, a month and a half later.
Yeah, and
for a lot of people, like I've said a lot of times on this show, I'm a theater person. I love going to the theater. I love not having the distractions of home. I love the shared experience, the community experience. But I get it. Some people don't.
A lot of people, after people realized they didn't have to leave their houses during COVID.
Well, in fact, you can buy an 80-inch TV for what, $400, $500 now. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's hard to
putting an 80-inch screen in our living room, and that'd be the equivalent of how far you're sitting. That's about equivalent to a theater screen.
Yeah.
And if you also got a good location to do surround, I mean,
yeah,
you can have that. You can have it, but I mean, for me, it's not being in my house watching it.
Yeah.
Maybe if we had just like a theater room. I think losing something with the community experiences.
Well, I mean, like kind of whenever you don't have to stand in lines. Now you can just go, get your tickets online, and it's all totally different.
Yeah. So let's keep going. What's your number 3?
Number 3, probably. I think probably the Marvels. I really just enjoyed the Marvels, mostly because I'm blanking on her name, the little cute girl.
Iman Vellani.
Iman Vellani is just so delightful. And I liked Photon. I liked Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel is whatever. But it was an interesting, it was just a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I don't think there's anything in this particular phase that I just have a hatred of.
Yeah.
I'm really the only movie that I just outright purely hated was Eternals. I tried real hard to like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our lists have now diverged. My number 3 is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
The,
So,
the catch with Deadpool and Wolverine, it's not for everybody. And
and
it's not the sort of thing everybody's going, even the audience that it's age wise that it's meant for, it's just not going to be everybody's cup of tea. It's a different kind of movie in the MCU.
it was a good movie. I mean, I'm not denying that it was a good movie. It's just, it's not so much my jam. It's just not. You know, Deadpool
Well,
is,
I'm not surprised that I like Deadpool and Wolverine at number 3 and you like the Marvels at number 3.
yeah.
I feel like that probably captures the intended dynamic as much as anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it wasn't that I hate it. Like I said, the Marvels, Iman Vellani is, you know, the
She could be the
embodiment
new
of
face of the
charisma.
MCU, and I'd be great with that.
They should really. So my opinion of who they should be leaning on in the MCU right now is Chris Pratt,
Mm-hmm.
Tom Holland, Chris Hemsworth, Iman Vellani, Haley Steinfeld,
Mm. I think
and
Haley Steinfeld may be
Florence
done.
and Florence freaking Pugh.
Yeah. That girl is like gold right now.
Well, like Florence Pugh was one of those that everybody was kind of going, well, she's good, but I don't know if she can lead a movie. Well, I guess she can.
Yeah. Yeah, she really, she just did a phenomenal job. So I think that my next one would be just preference wise, not necessarily what a good movie is. I did prefer Captain America
Okay.
over Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay. And
So I
and
think my
like
next
so just kind of back up and qualify something here. We're not movie critics. Like when we rank these movies more
Mhm.
often than not, we're giving you our opinions.
Like
period.
I liked it.
Like what we like,
hmm
because I think that if you, I mean, I think my list is in this case is pretty close on what was, better, movie, at least the first two. And we had the same first two.
hmm
I think those are the most well-made movies of the group.
Yeah.
And I would say Deadpool and Wolverine and Captain America Brave New World are the next two as far as quality.
Yeah.
Marvels and Quantumania is where, for me, the storytelling got messy.
Yeah.
It's not that they're bad. They're just not as good as they could have been.
Yeah.
Let's see. So let's see. Your number 4 was Captain America Brave New World.
Yes.
All right, that's the same. My number 4 is Captain America: Brave New World. One of the 2 Marvel movies out this year, and if these movies were if Thunderbolt and Captain America: Brave New World were pre-Endgame, people would have loved every second of both of those movies.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have both lost money.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. There are some people that have just checked out in a post-Endgame world. Endgame was the end for them.
Yeah.
And they just don't care beyond that. And then
Yeah.
there's some people that are just so angry at Disney in general that they're done.
Thank you, Lucasfilm.
100%. Lucasfilm has burned most of the goodwill. Now Pixar's doing their part. Disney, the Disney Studios doing their part with some of these live action reboots, specifically this Snow White. But the charge for destroying all of the goodwill was certainly led by Lucasfilm and leadership that didn't care.
Yeah.
Let's see. So my number 5 is The Marvels.
Okay.
Which you had at your 3. Again, I think it's a good movie. Iman Vellani, fantastic. So charismatic. I really hope they do more with her, and I hope that she is able to land in a movie that's actually successful. because so far, her two movies have not done well. Her movie and her show
Mhm.
just haven't done particularly well.
Yeah.
She's a ton of fun, and
Mhm.
I think that I wish people would give her a chance.
Yeah.
Um, what's your number six? Did you
That
give
would
your
be
five? No,
no,
you
no, my
didn't.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a really good movie, but it definitely had its honestly the meta joke with uh Chris Hemsworth, no, Captain America, Chris Evans,
Yeah.
as Johnny Storm was.
Mm.
I mean, like and then the payoff at the end, and he was like, and he
that
said this and this and this.
every basically every character Chris Evans had played
Hmm.
up until before Captain America was basically Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
They all had that personality.
Hmm.
And that's why when they cast him as Captain America, everybody went, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And lost their minds. He ended up being a terrific Captain America, but
Yeah.
he, playing totally against type.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it works. But
I
yeah,
mean, Krasinski was the number two option.
he would have been great too.
He would have been. He was the number two option for Star Lord as well. But I
Awesome.
think he's kind of at a point in his career where he's not necessarily looking to get tied to multi-film contracts,
Yeah. I
especially
think,
since he's directing.
well, and not just in his career, I think a point just in his life and his family. He's got a young
Yeah.
family, he's got young kids. And his wife is also a very successful actor. So I
Hey, and
think,
they're doing a Jack Ryan movie.
that's true. They are.
So he was a fantastic Jack Ryan.
Yeah, he was. So that puts
Number six, same
Ant-Man
movie for both,
at the
Ant-Man
bottom.
and the Wasp, Quantumania. Things I love about it, things I still haven't
Michelle
decided.
Pfeiffer's great.
Yeah.
Well,
everybody, I think the acting's fine in it.
Yeah, all the actors are great.
It gets a little weird.
Yeah.
But it's the
It wasn't
quantum realm. It's
terrible.
allowed to be weird, but it's just some of the things happen almost too conveniently.
Yes. Like, I'm sorry, but that person should have died there at the end. They just should have.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense for the story.
I don't hate it. It's the least well constructed movie of this list.
Yeah. Like I said, the acting was all good, and I mean I enjoy Paul Rudd just as Ant-Man a lot, but
Yep.
All right. It wasn't my favorite.
I believe that is all of the Phase 5 movies. For some reason, when I started making this list, I thought that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was a Phase 5 movie, but apparently it was a tail end of Phase 4.
Yeah.
And as much of a mess as that movie can be in places, it's one of the better Phase 4 movies. But I think for that one, I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, there's a lot of very Sam Raimi things in that movie.
Yeah.
That some people were like, "Oh, this looks terrible. This looks
my favorite
this looks
thing
B movie." And it's like, yeah, because they basically did the zombie in the Deadite style from the Evil Dead movies.
My favorite thing was the random text message you got from our brother-in-law saying, "I'm watching the new Doctor Strange movie, and it just feels like it was directed by Sam Raimi." And you were like,
yeah,
because it was.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing, and I think that's great that he, he's not a huge Sam Raimi watcher. Like, I mean, I've watched a lot of Sam Raimi stuff. I mean, he's probably, Cole has probably seen a couple of those things at my house, at my apartment back in the day.
Yeah.
And truth be told, but I think that's a huge thing that even he watching that went, wow, that looks like a Sam Raimi movie.
Mm-hmm.
And probably his biggest Sam Raimi thing was the first two, those Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
There's some rumors Sam Raimi's coming back to do something else too.
I mean, I loved me some Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
And before we abandon this list here, related news If it turns out to be true, the big rumor right now is that the director for the Thunderbolts is going to be the one to bring the X-Men fully into the MCU.
Okay.
And I think his tone is perfect
Yes.
for bringing in the X-Men.
Mm-hmm. He did a really good job with that, with the honestly, potentially kind of lackluster team up. Like
Which
you could
one?
have the Thunderbolts, like it could have definitely
Oh,
been
it could have
one
been
note.
terrible.
It could have been really bad. But they really managed to play into everybody's strengths and really a really good balance of the humor and the gravitas.
It made us, it made you, gave you threads to help you like these characters.
I'm pretty
A little
sure
better.
our
Like
kids
to
were going to
like John
cry when
Walker.
that little girl disappeared.
I think the whole theater just about cried when the little girl disappeared the first time. Like,
Yeah.
That was one of those moments you get that audible gasp in the theater, which again, it's one of the fun things about watching a movie with people.
Yeah.
Is the shared experience.
Yeah.
Hey there, sci-fi fans. We hope you enjoyed this clip from a previous live stream of the Science Fictionary podcast. We hope you'll go check out other episodes. We hope you'll hit that like and that subscribe button. And please go check out all of our friends over at the Red 5 Network. And as always, may the Force be with you.